The Renaissance, when civilization recentered on the human being by Dolly Higa. Today I'm not talking about famous Renaissance paintings. I'm talking about why the Renaissance happened at all. When we look back from its results, the Renaissance often appears as a sudden explosion. Painting, sculpture, architecture, science, and thought all reached extraordinary heights within a relatively short period. Masterpieces appeared one after another, as if civilization had awakened abruptly after a long sleep. But from within history itself, the Renaissance was not a sudden awakening. It was the visible emergence of long-term change. It did not begin from nothing. It took shape within a civilization whose structure had already been profoundly transformed. After the collapse of the Roman Empire, Europe entered the Middle Ages. Centralized administration and unified authority disappeared. Roads no longer led to a single political core. Civilizational experience withdrew from the center and dispersed into monasteries, cities, and local workshops. This period is often described as stagnant, yet structurally its significance lay precisely in decentralization. Texts continued to be copied. Crafts matured locally. Knowledge and skill developed along multiple regional paths. Civilization did not collapse with the loss of a center. It was preserved through dispersion. This decentralized structure allowed continuity. It also created the conditions for future reintegration. The Renaissance was formed within these conditions. By the 15th century, these dispersed elements began to reconnect. Cities intensified their exchanges. Trade, finance, and craftsmanship formed new networks. Ideas and techniques were no longer merely preserved, but re-entered the structure of lived reality. The Renaissance was not a rediscovery of antiquity. It was the moment when long-preserved experience was reintegrated into the present. What mattered was not revival, but reinterpretation. This structural shift became especially clear in art. The human body was no longer a symbolic sign. It became an object of observation, measurement, and understanding. Proportion, structure, balance, and force, elements of lived experience, were treated with seriousness and care. Painting began to study space, not for decoration, but to understand how the world unfolds through vision. The emergence of perspective was not merely a technical advance. It marked a transformation in worldview. The world came to be understood as a real space, one that could be entered, organized, and comprehended. The most fundamental change of the Renaissance was not a stylistic one, but a redefinition of how human beings understand the world. A deeper transformation occurred within the human role itself. Human beings were no longer simply figures assigned within a cosmic order. They were recognized as individuals with inner depth. Expression, hesitation, reflection, and emotional nuance became worthy subjects of representation. As human experience moved to the center of understanding, the way meaning was formed also changed. Faith did not disappear, but it was no longer conveyed only through abstract symbols. It began to be experienced and expressed through human perception and lived reality. This was not a change in religious institutions, but a natural shift in meaning. Once the human being became the starting point of understanding, seen as a whole, the Renaissance was not the age of a few isolated geniuses. It was a moment when multiple structures matured simultaneously, allowing exceptional talent to fully unfold. Art, science, philosophy, technology, and economy resonated within the same civilizational conditions. This resonance did not arise because people suddenly became smarter, but because civilization had reached a stage where creation was finally possible. The Renaissance was not a miracle. It was the visible result of readiness. It marked a decisive transition. Civilization no longer relied solely on inherited authority, but began to renew itself. Through human observation, experience, and creation, a deeper transformation occurred within the human role itself. Human beings were no longer simply figures assigned within a cosmic order. They were recognized as individuals with inner depth, expression, hesitation, reflection, and emotional nuance, became worthy subjects of representation. As human experience moved to the center of understanding, the way meaning was formed also changed. Faith did not disappear, but it was no longer conveyed only through abstract symbols. It began to be experienced and expressed through human perception and lived reality. This was not a change in religious institutions, but a natural shift in meaning. Once the human being became the starting point of understanding, seen as a whole, the Renaissance was not the age of a few isolated geniuses. It was a moment when multiple structures matured simultaneously, allowing exceptional talent to fully unfold. Art, science, philosophy, technology, and economy resonated within the same civilizational conditions. This resonance did not arise because people suddenly became smarter, but because civilization had reached a stage where creation was finally possible. The Renaissance was not a miracle. It was the visible result of readiness. It marked a decisive transition. Civilization no longer relied solely on inherited authority, but began to renew itself. Through human observation, experience, and creation. If the Middle Ages reshaped civilization's structure, the Renaissance was when that structure finally bore fruit. Human beings returned to the world, not as rulers, but as participants, creators, and interpreters. And when we extend our view forward, a new question emerges. In an age defined by acceleration and fragmentation, the way we perceive and understand the world is undergoing another reconfiguration. Its final form is not yet clear, but the question itself is unmistakable. It is the continuation of a history that began when the Renaissance placed the human being at the center of understanding